Hey guys, welcome back. Really excited to talk about this subject today. Holy moly. In fact, I think I am for sure. I'm going to say it. I'm going to do a series of episodes on the show over the summertime um, that go a lot into deep transformation and some of my own life experience with this. And I'm going to go deep with it because I think we're in a time where a lot of people are being called up to deeper levels of transformation. And I think that we need to know that it's normal, and we need to know that a lot of people have been through it. And I share a lot about this in my book, The Soul Frequency, but I want to share even more about it because there are many different nuances to the process. And not every process is obviously the same, but there are certain things that pretty much are benchmarkers that people go through in a spiritual awakening. And I wrote a blog post about this, and it's below in the description, the link to that if you want to read it, that talks about some of the signs and symptoms of spiritual awakening. And you can see if any of those resonate with you currently or things that you've been through in the past, which I think is really helpful. So I'm excited. I wish that I had someone share all the details prior to me going through this. So I really feel like it's helpful to know you're not going crazy. And these things happen and they're all for greater good. And yet there are steps and stages to get through it in an easier way. As easy, I don't think it's easy, but I'm just going to say an easier way, or at least to know like what to look out for, right, in the process, because I think that's important. So we're going to talk about it today, and I'm going to dive into it in just a minute as we go to the actual episode. This is Shauna Lee, and welcome to this week's The Soul Frequency Sessions. Real talk about real life and how to raise your energy frequency. All right, we're talking about it. We're talking about signs of a spiritual awakening. Yes. It's a very big subject. It's a very important subject. I just got done talking a little bit about it prior to this podcast on my YouTube channel. So I'm now recording all of the sessions, videos of me recording these sessions on my YouTube channel at The Soul Frequency, Shauna Lee. And you can put it in the little search bar and find it. Because I got guided to do it is the simple fact about that. I got guided to start a podcast, and then I got guided to do these session episodes. And then they were like, flick on the camera and do it on camera. So I'm kind of doing some information on YouTube and talking before I start the actual sessions episode. So if you want to check that out, you can go to my YouTube channel and subscribe there and see the behind the scenes, me in my office, creating these short little but sweet and powerful episodes. So I'm excited to have you join me over on YouTube. And spiritual awakening, I recently wrote a blog post about this. It took me a long time to finish this blog post because I think this is such a big deal. And I wanted to talk about some of the signs and symptoms that people go through. And I also wanted to clarify, because I think a lot of people are going through this. I know for clients of mine, I also know just for the collective, that we are waking up at faster and faster levels. And that waking up process is sometimes chaotic and difficult, and it's meant to be. And it all starts with pain of some sort. So whether that's physical pain, whether that's emotional pain, whether it's mental pain, spiritual pain, it's like there has to be something in our life that literally like wakes us up. There has to be something that shakes us up for us to change our patterns. We are so used to doing life in the same way that we literally have to have something kind of jolt us awake. And that's what spiritual awakening does. And that pain is so profound because it leads us on this path of learning so many different things. When I look back at some of the painful things I've been through, like I've had this neck pain that I've had for a while. I had it really at the beginning of my spiritual awakening begin, and I knew a lot of it was emotionally based. And when I look back on it and my journey of healing my neck, and I knew, because it happened right at the time of my spiritual awakening, I just knew there was so much there. I knew that it was emotionally based, a lot of it. I knew that that it had a profound message for me. I mean, this is often the case in a spiritual awakening, whether it's a physical pain or emotional manifesting as physical. And I knew that I needed to follow its lead in the sense of like continuing to try to get to the bottom of it. And it's extraordinary, the journey I went on. And I look back on it, and there's so many people that I met because I had this neck pain. There are so many like healers, practitioners, like colleagues, just people, right? Because I went on this journey with my neck that I would have never met because I would have never had this pain and never had to reach out. And so I think when we understand that pain is opening us up to a new way, and pain is opening the door to us, going in different directions, looking places we've never looked before, that we can start to understand the value in pain, right? Generally, we just don't even want to talk about pain. We don't want to deal with pain. But it can actually be a really powerful healer, right? And teacher for us. And so I went on a journey with that. And whatever you might be experiencing in your life that is a pain might be taking you on a journey. And it really just has to matter. It really just matters if we're open to it, right? It really just matters that we say yes and say, okay, I'm willing to listen to my intuition and follow my intuition and go where it leads. That's all we're being asked to do. And there's no length of time that a spiritual awakening takes or the pain takes. But I will say that it's not something you process or go through, in a day or a week. I mean, this process is probably a several year long process, and we're always growing and expanding. And it's a good thing that it takes some time, because if everything changed on a dime, that's shocking, right? And we'd probably be traumatized by it and scared of it. And, we're already like scared of change. So it would just be too much to handle. So your soul, your higher self knows how quickly to guide you to evolve, basically. So trust the process and trust your higher self and trust your guides and your angels and, everything that is helping you be the person that you can be and step into your highest self. And in this article that I wrote, which you can find on my website, you can just search on my website. There's a search bar for spiritual awakening. There are several signs and symptoms that I talk about in the article. I also talk a little bit about my story of awakening, and I'll just give you a couple of them, but you can read all of them and just kind of see where you are in the process and what you've experienced. Some of the signs are feeling kind of disconnected from the life that you are living or have lived, meaning some of the things you used to love to do, you don't love to do anymore, and you just feel like you're changing a little bit, and maybe your environment isn't changing like you're changing. Generally feeling like you want more peace or quiet time, you want more space in your schedule. Also feeling like a greater responsibility to the planet, to life, to healing, seeing that there's a bigger picture here, seeing that there's a lot of different factors that have maybe tried to control, human beings in general, and that maybe everything isn't always as you've been told, right? So kind of starting to see behind the veil a little bit, starting to see the deeper truths in life, starting to see the deeper truths within yourself, like, I don't like this anymore, or I do like that, and being a little bit courageous about how you go about stepping into things, or releasing yourself from things that don't feel good anymore. You can also feel like distant from certain relationships in your life, like, we just don't vibe with each other anymore. And it's also easy to feel a connection with people that maybe you haven't known for 20 years or something, but are new to step into your life, and they just feel like soul sisters and soul brothers, and there's just a deep connection there that's not in years, right? But maybe in lifetimes, but not in this lifetime's human years. So there are so many other listed, I mean, tons on this list. So you might want to take a look at them and see if any of them resonate with you, and see, what kind of gets spurred inside of you, and what awareness rises to the surface from reading this list of signs and symptoms of spiritual awakening. I think it's powerful to know when we're in one, and it's powerful to know that we're not alone in that process. A lot of the people that I coach one-on-one or in the soul frequency experience are either in spiritual awakening, have had one, or are heading into that process. And so community is super important with people that get it, people that have been there. That's why I'm going to talk so much about it this summer on the show, because I think it's really important for us to know that we are loved and cared for, and we have a positive place to go to get questions answered and to understand the process that we are all undertaking on the collective. So wishing you an amazing week ahead. See you back here next week. All right, there it was. We did it. The spiritual awakening episode on the soul frequency sessions. I love talking about spiritual awakening. I love my own experience of it, even though it was painful and difficult, even brutal at times. I look back on it with such reverence, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I think that sometimes when you're in the middle of it, it can feel like I am done. So if you feel like you're there, check out my article, see what resonates with you. Would absolutely love to dive into, what's going on for you too. So if you want to sign up for an individual session, you can also do that on the soulfrequency.com website under sessions. Yeah. And look forward to helping your expansion and helping our collective expansion. Have an amazing day.